Super Mario RPG just got big news on multiple fronts, and we have to break down all of the new information for this highly anticipated remake of a SNES classic era RPG. Many fans are looking forward to this and touting it as one of the best RPG experiences of all time. If you're like me and you're somebody who actually has fond memories of the game as a kid but never played it to completion, you might be looking forward to a brand new exposure to the world, the characters and the stories and the details behind it. If you do have very good memory of the game, this might not be as much of a spoiler warning for you, but you do have to realize that the game, in true Nintendo Switch fashion, has fully leaked online ahead of its actual release date. Now, this happens frequently with Nintendo Switch games. In fact, just about every Nintendo Switch game makes it out early because when retailers ship out copies, they of course find their way into the hands of random individuals. The Switch from the early generations is extremely easily hackable, and people dump these files online. So people are streaming this game online. You could likely just stumble across the end game final boss fight and spoilers and things that you may not want to know about until you get a chance to play the game yourself. So let this serve as your first update and warning around the game that yes, it's out there, footage is online, and people are playing it and data mining it and sharing all types of details that you may or may not want to know walking into this release on the 17th. As you can see the following post over on VGC, which reads, Mario RPG Remake developer revealed as spoilers circulate. Copies of the game have seemingly made their way into players' hands a week early. As spotted by social media users, a copyright notice attached to eShop pre-orders reveals that Japanese studio Arty Piazza, I think is how you say it, developed the new Mario RPG. Arty Piazza is known for its involvement in Square's Dragon Quest series as far back as Dragon Quest III in 1996. It was most recently responsible for CG design in early titles, and later it produced remakes for PS2 and Nintendo DS. So we now know the developer for this game. We also have a very nice overview trailer that Nintendo of America recently published on their channel, and I will have that linked in the description down below should you want to go kind of watch all the details that they highlight, because it's just under 5 minutes long and they do a good job of explaining some of the refinements and the mechanics that they've fine-tuned for this remake slash re-release. Some people are calling it a remaster. It's just that it sticks very close to the original game because they didn't want to alter something that is really regarded as a flawless RPG experience, but they do have some small quality of life improvements with tapping the buttons at the right time to get more damage output. I do love to see that they just straight up made it a simple option on if you want to enjoy the classic old Mario RPG style themes from the SNES, or if you want to have it easily go over to the new, more modern style version of the music. And if you have nostalgia one way or the other, you might want to toggle back and forth for different sections of the game, and you can just simply do that within the menu. Not to mention, Nintendo has really mastered this style of presentation within this remake. It just looks like it has so much personality, bright and vibrant colors, and it's a great time to be a Mario fan right now. It's still hard for me to believe that we have another major Mario game to look forward to this month when I'm still wrapping up my 100% playthrough of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Completing the special world right now is where I'm at, and I can't believe that I'm going to have another Mario adventure to hop into on the 17th. Now from there, the last big piece of news and updates for Super Mario RPG is Nintendo has indeed sent out preview copies or invited people to come play early portions of the game. I believe it was like the first 3 hours or so, but you've probably seen a bunch of different media outlets reporting what they think about the early game. Now, we do not have Metacritic scores at the time of filming this video. We may or may not go over that based off what it scores when it actually is revealed, but you can see a good roundup over on Nintendo Life of what is being said here and how reviewers are so far thinking of this game based off their early exposure. As you can see the following article, which reads, Roundup, the previews are in for Super Mario RPG on Switch. Here's what the critics think. Square Enix legendary SNES game Super Mario RPG returns later this month on the Nintendo Switch, and ahead of the November 17th release, the final round of previews have gone live. If you haven't already seen our own hands-on of the upcoming Switch titles on Nintendo Life, the good news is it's shaping up to be something pretty special. In fact, it might just be the most faithful remake we've ever played. So what do critics think of this new version of Super Mario RPG so far? Read on to find out. IGN says, Super Mario RPG has been able to balance its faithful recreation of one of my favorite games with a willingness to improve where it counts. My Nintendo News says, can confidently say that this is shaping up to be a fantastic way to experience the game, whether you've played the original SNES title or if it's your first time diving into Mario's first RPG. There have clearly been several quality of life improvements made to the game in order to make it as accessible as possible, but the inclusion of the original soundtrack clearly shows Nintendo want this to be a nostalgic experience for returning players too. Press Start Australia says, this is going to be the best way to play Super Mario RPG. Its improvements are small but impactful, and its visual style is as strong as ever. Tech Radar had this to say, if there's one thing that classic turn-based role-playing RPGs can be guilty of, it's repetitive, unengaging combat. However, these aren't issues that players will have to worry about in Nintendo's upcoming Switch remake of Super Mario RPG. And finally, ComingSoon.net says, it looks like Nintendo has nailed the Super Mario RPG remake. Whether you've replayed the SNES original several times or this is your first go-around, the updated Switch version is a must-play for all RPG fans. Featuring more charm than ever, plus some smart updates that keep it feeling fresh, this is everything you could want from a remake. So that's what you want to hear, the best of both worlds, a faithful remake to its SNES original form, but plenty of quality of life improvements that let brand new RPG fans experience it for the first time, or returning players are going to have a major nostalgia trip going through this game, and that is a big win. I'm really glad that we saw Nintendo focus on giving this game a true from the ground up remake with modern visuals and modern enhancements, and I'll be curious to see if now that this game is going to be released and in our hands, that maybe a few months down the road we might actually get the original SNES version brought to something like Nintendo Switch Online. This was one of the big missing games that was always in question. When, if ever, will Nintendo finally bring back this classic title to NSO when it's clearly missing from the SNES library of games? And I could see them just throwing it on there as a surprise announcement one day. Once this current remake has its moment in the spotlight, probably a 3 to 4 month window of just focusing on it in terms of the holiday sales and the extra traffic around it, and then we may see that original version pop up on NSO as well, which will be very welcome to be able to go back and forth and see things side by side on how they've changed the original art style and graphics to this new version that I will be picking up on release date and covering here on the channel. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification for that. I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, whether or not you're interested in picking up Super Mario RPG. Are you a returning player that you can't wait to go through this adventure once again? Are you somebody who's going to be playing through it for the first time? Or are you like me and you have some vague memories of going through the early portions of the game, but you don't know the story and what to expect and have all the memories of the details about it? What do you think this game will do from a sales perspective? Do you think it's going to be something that Nintendo will be happy with in terms of total units sold, and maybe we'll get more classic SNES era remakes because of it? Or do you think that it might be one of the lower performing Mario games out there? And what do you think about all of the features and footage you've seen from both official channels from Nintendo and other preview footage from various different review outlets online? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch Friday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your bell notification, and I will see you guys in the next video.